My heavens. Well, hi, friends. Doc South here. And, I don't know. Today, I won't say just where I was, but I ran across, I don't know, I was busy doing something and I turned around and there's a fella, uh, looked pretty bedraggled. He looked like he'd really been through the ringer. And he was wearing, he was wearing a jacket, that in fact it might have been even turnout gear from a New Jersey city. Again, I won't say where, but and it said that he was a paramedic. And having done some rescue work, I never got to paramedic status. I was about halfway there, about halfway there, uh, back in the day, many years ago now. In fact, I doubt I'd remember much of what I was taught, but back in the day, I wasn't too bad at it. And but I could tell by looking at the guy, you didn't have to be an expert to know he had had one very rough night somewhere. And it was, like I said, a Jersey city, a city in New Jersey, not Jersey City necessarily. Might have been. And I said, "Man, you're a paramedic and all?" He says, "Yep." I said, "I so admire you. Doggone, that's really cool you're doing that." He says, "Man, I don't know." He says, "I don't know if I can do it much longer. I honestly," says, "I just don't know." And I said, "What, do you have a rough night?" He says, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "Well, I used to, for what it's worth, I used to do somewhat like you. Like I said, I wasn't quite to your rank and training, but um, for back in the day, I was pretty well trained, and we had our nights too. And you must know by now it'll all pass. You give it a day or so, and you'll be okay again." He says, "Yeah, I know," but he says, "Man, this is getting tough. It's getting tough." And a young fella too, relative. Well, I'd say in his 30s, which at one time was old to me. Now I don't know. Being 30 would be kind of cool. But uh, I said, "Well, I did it too down in North Carolina. A city down there was pretty tough." And I said, "We had our moments, man." He says, "Yeah." He said, "I'm sure you did, sir." And he said, "Boy." Mm. And I said, "Well, there's a bunch of COVID stuff going on." He says, "Well, some COVID." He says, "You name it. It happened last night." He said, "You just name it." And it happened. I said, "Well, I won't get into naming it, but again, I know what you mean." Uh, I said, "Well, if anything, best thing I can say is thank you and thank heaven for you. And, just keep a stiff upper lip and do what you can." And then he thanked me. I said, "Well, heck, I didn't do anywhere near like you must do every night." I said, "Though we did have our moments." He says, "I know you did, sir." And I don't know, we shook hands and off he went. I imagine he's going to get himself some stuff to eat and maybe just maybe stop and get a beer somewhere. And that probably wouldn't hurt him a bit. But I felt very proud of him for him, and I felt sorry that that he had himself a tough one, a tough night. But again, keep these people in your hearts and minds, friends. They're and your prayers. They're very very good people. Those I know the rescue people I worked with. I just don't know where I knew better people. And firemen, policemen, all the same. Good folks. And you know, do what you can to support them. Uh, Not so much financially, although that don't hurt either. But yeah, you think of one way or another, you can help them out with a fundraiser or just a word of support, a thank you even. The guy, like I said, thanked me. I thanked him right back. We're both sitting there hollering thank you at each other, uh, or saying thank you at each other. And again, I hope I see him again. Maybe this time he'll have a grin on his face. Maybe this time, maybe he delivered a baby or something really worked out well, which it'll happen. Give him another night or two, and he'll be back on top of the world. Okay. Anyway, for those, and also keep in mind this COVID stuff. A lot of what happened last night might have just been that he had COVID patients and just, now maybe he's worried he's got it, or maybe he had nowhere to take them. He may have known that might have been kind of bad for these folks. There might not have been room at the hospital. So, he's it's hard to know just what it was. I didn't want to elucidate with him, but again, keep that in mind. It's a serious disease. It really is. And and if it ain't COVID, it's an auto wreck or a shooting, stabbing, drug overdose, heart attack. There's always something when you do what he does. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory forever, so be it. And keep that young fella in your prayers, okay? We'll see you later. Bye now.